All right, welcome back to the Finley Formation. This is Brandon.
This Gage.
And this is Jared.
Right, we're coming off of week 14, the last week of buys. So we got a full schedule from here on out. We actually had, 4 teams on bye. So we only had 14 games this last week. We had, the Niners, Panthers. Was it the Panthers? They have a bye?
The Patriots.
Yeah.
Have a bye?
Patriots.
First
And,
Patriots.
and I think one more NFC team. But
Giants.
Giants, yeah.
Giants.
I wonder, has anybody actually looked into how they schedule buys and which teams have buys on certain? I don't know if there's
Yeah.
any correlation or not.
I don't know. I'm not sure how they schedule their bye weeks and do all that.
So what does it go from week 4 to 14?
I think so.
That's crazy.
Yeah, with that Thanksgiving break.
Yeah.
And then from the buys. So
I guess I didn't realize that for, was it 10 weeks?
Mhm.
That somebody has at least probably 4 teams. Is 4 the minimum?
for the
Four is-
bye weeks.
Four
Min
buys.
and max, I think.
Is it?
Right? Isn't it always
I
4?
think, well, they had a couple weeks with just 2 teams.
Oh,
where
really?
we had
Yeah, that's
15
true.
games.
Yeah.
But
That kind of seems a little bit crazy. I don't know. In my personal opinion, I don't know how you guys feel, but I wish there was only a 3 or 4 week period where there was only buys, right in the middle, like week 8, 9, 10.
just have more teams
Right.
each time.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And I
too.
understand that they'll never do that because you want the product on TV and that's how you get all your money. But
Right.
I mean, as far as probably players want, they
Mhm.
probably want that bye week right in the middle of the season.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure they'd rather gut shot it more.
Yeah.
Like to 7 to 12 or
Right.
8 to 12. Heck, yeah. I know that's how I would want it.
Yeah.
Get that break in between.
I don't know if NFL players are too keen on having a week 4 bye and then playing
The rest.
the rest 14 or I guess 13 straight weeks, and then if you make the playoffs and you're playing
Right.
upwards of 17 weeks in a row of just straight football in the NFL.
Yeah, where the Patriots and the Niners coming into the bye week in 14. I mean, it worked out good for them because they came in strong. So now they get that bye week, and then they look like they're playoff bound, both
Right.
teams. And so I mean that works for them. But if you were struggling the whole time till 14 as well,
Mhm.
then you're like, man, we need a bye week. And it did look like the Niners were going to get kind of screwed by it because they're all their injuries. But they ended up making it through to
Yep.
where they're at. But yeah, I kind of agree. I think they'd all rather have them right in the middle.
Yeah.
So kind of worked out good for those teams because now they'll be, healthy and
Mhm.
refreshed for the playoffs, hopefully.
We
But
we hope. I don't know.
yeah, for the last few weeks to drive for the playoffs because essentially, I mean, for some teams, the playoffs start this week. I think you got teams that it's win or out. I want to say the Bengals, I feel like, should be winning
I
out.
think so because they're 3 games behind already,
Hmm.
and that's pretty much for a playoff spot. Like whoever wins that division, I think, is going to be the only team from that division to get a playoff.
Yeah, it should be because
Mhm.
it's pretty terrible there. And so, yeah, they're behind the Bengals. And I mean, there's a few other teams. I mean, the Chiefs might be kind of a win and out situation as well. They already said they cannot win their division. And so they might be a win and out as well. I think there might just be the 2 teams coming from the AFC West there, which I thought that one was going to be 3
Mhm.
teams for sure. But
Yeah. Also, the reason I'm so quiet during all that, I was looking up why and how they do their bye weeks. Couldn't find a how, so it might just be pulled from a hat. Be like, okay, week 4, Bengals.
It might
Right.
be, yeah.
But the why is because between 1960 and 1966, they had an odd amount of teams, so they had to do
Oh.
bye weeks.
I gotcha. So somebody who always wasn't going to be playing.
Yep.
yeah, I like the fact that they have a bye week just for the rest of it. The rest for the players. It does help you get players back.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So I think that it's a good thing to do. It does kind of suck when you don't get to watch your team for a week, but
I don't know.
You
I
know.
don't see, I see what you're saying with how it helps you get your players back because, you just have one less game to play while they're hurt. But, I mean, the timeline is not really different unless they're playing through injury.
yeah, they don't. But you don't miss a game while they're doing it.
Yeah.
And then I think with now that they have games all throughout the week, like Thursdays, and then they have these games on different weeks. I think it definitely helps, especially if your team were to have a Thursday game and then go into a bye the next week. That'd be a huge time off. I don't know if they purposely don't schedule things like that sometimes for those reasons, but Yeah, it'd be huge. But yeah, this last week, man, it was another crazy week. I think you had some big upsets. I thought it was kind of cool. The Bears lose one game and go from the first seed to the
The seventh,
seventh.
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, we knew that the Niners were going to get pushed up to
6.
six. I guess I didn't realize it was the Bears that would drop all the way down. That's wild.
Yeah.
Because that division is terrible, but somehow good enough to have a first seed. I don't really know. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's wild because it's like you got 9-4 and uh 9-3-1, and they were playing for. I mean, one team was playing for the first seed, one team was playing for the second seed.
Mhm.
After the Rams won, I don't know how it all works out. I don't know how they fell that far. It's
Yeah,
wild.
I guess it's just the tiebreak or something like that.
It has to be, and I think with like the Bears and the Niners, how like the Bears drop behind them, I think it goes off of, since they haven't played each other, it goes off a conference record. I think the Niners have a pretty good conference record,
They're 4-1.
4-1, and then the Bears must have a worse conference record.
The worst one.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, that one was I don't know, I kind of expected the Packers to kind of put a stop to those Bears if they could just not turn the ball over, and that was seemed to be the case. They just were able to keep the ball in their own hands for the most part, cuz that's where the Bears, their defense is okay, but if they're not getting turnovers,
Mhm.
they're definitely mid. But
Yeah,
they lead the league in turnovers, so that's, they're definitely like opportunistic
Yeah.
defense. So
I think they just need to draft a new quarterback.
oh, yeah, already.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, they haven't done this good for years, but get rid of them.
I'm not seeing in him what I seen in Bryce Young. He got that confidence in him.
Yeah. I don't know. It's that he's playing okay. It's definitely not because of him that they're winning. He's not hurting them that much, but it's definitely that running game
I don't know
that the
the
Bears
running
have.
game. I wouldn't say that necessarily. They're top half of the league in rushing.
Who?
The Bears.
That's what I said. It's the running game that's
Oh.
getting them there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
the running game works.
Yeah.
They got good receivers when the receiving core's healthy. It's the quarterback.
Yeah, I just said I don't think Caleb Williams is the reason they're winning.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I just, I think
I
it is
think
the
you
running
guys
game.
are arguing at the same point.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I don't know why he was saying that. Like,
think-
No, because
Yeah.
he doesn't think it's time to replace Caleb Williams. But if
Well-
Caleb's the only reason your offense is failing, then you get rid of him.
Well, that's the thing. They're not failing. That's what I said. He's not the not the reason that they're winning games, but he's also not losing games for them either. He's making
Yeah.
some passes when he needs to, and he's doing what he needs to do to kind of get this going. And but yeah, he's definitely not like the driving force of the offense.
Yeah.
But he's not the reason. If you replace him, then you'll probably get a guy in there that's going to throw a couple of picks and ruin it, and screw this team over. Which Caleb Williams isn't doing that. He's
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, yeah. The Bears are playing well. Their defense is playing okay, but the Packers, if they get rolling, I think they have, like we talked about at the beginning. I mean, they have the team that could probably, still do some damage in the playoffs. And now that I think they're getting their offense going without Tucker Kraft, I think they're looking pretty good. They look good against the Bears. Seemed like that Christian Watson had a pretty good game.
And I think he was he hurt for a good chunk of the season, and then he came back.
I
Yeah.
think so.
I think
Yep.
that kind of helped because he's always seemed like he's been more of like the deep threat for them, and then everybody else like Dobbs and who's the one that they're drafted, Golden,
Oh, Matthew Golden.
Matthew Golden, and then there's a couple other receivers that they have in there, but they're more like underneath type of receivers. So getting Christian Watson back seems like they got the deep ball
Yeah.
kind of going a little bit.
And I don't know how Dobbs gets open. It's amazing every week just looking at how big his guardian cap is and how big
Yeah,
it looks on his head. It's like, how do you get open?
Yeah. Barely. Yeah, can't fit through all that defensive traffic with that big old helmet on.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We talked. I think a big talking point last week for me, anyway, was the 3 big games for conference or for your division.
Mhm.
So you had like the Colts and Jaguars. Whoever won that game was going to be leading that division, and that game actually turned out to be the only blowout between the 3. But like, the big turning point in that game, I think, was when Daniel Jones tore his Achilles, and then you're throwing Riley Leonard, who's a rookie, in there. I think 6th round pick.
Yeah.
Something like that.
somewhere-
Pretty
yeah,
late.
late round, yeah.
Pretty late. So he's getting his first action in a game that he probably didn't think he was going to get much action in. They get blown out by the Jaguars, who now are might be one of the most surprising teams probably in the NFL this year.
Yeah.
They're leading the AFC South, and then you had the Steelers and Ravens for the NFC North. The Steelers came out on top of that one, and then we just talked about the Bears Packers. Packers coming out on top there, and now they're leading the NFC North.
Right.
So two pretty good games, and then the AFC South game happened to be a blowout. So I think the biggest takeaway from that game is I think the Colts might be in trouble.
Yeah.
That you got a surging Jaguars team where you're now in the division leading. Now you got Houston Texans coming up.
Starting to play good ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they did the only right move they could have done though. Bring in an old quarterback, even if he's just on the sidelines and Riley Leonard's here, it was the best possible decision. Bring in an old quarterback,
old gunslinger.
Yeah, I was so surprised when I sent that to you guys. I was like, "Geez, Phillip Rivers, man!" Then, like I said to Jared, or said to you guys in that text too. I mean, it really goes to show how bad the free agent quarterback situation is.
Right.
There's really nobody out there that they
know.
could have brought in better or more willing. I
didn't know if Phillip Rivers was still willing to play because I think that's a good free agent, man.
Well, I think it's okay, but there's got to be some guys on like practice squads or something that they can go after.
I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah. I don't think the quarterback pool is very deep, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think even in the starting and backups within the league, so, it doesn't appear to be real deep anyway.
Yeah,
So,
it's like the names
let
you
alone
can think
going
of
out there.
that you could probably bring back are old and haven't played in a long time because you could probably convince Cam Newton to come back if you wanted to. You could probably convince like all these people I still have that were good when they played 5 years ago.
Yeah, I think as long as Cam Newton could bedazzle his guardian cap, he'd probably come back.
Yeah,
he would need not a helmet, just a guardian cap to get all that hair in there.
No shit. Yeah, it'd have to be all bedazzled and pimped out. That's the way he looks every time I see him. I'm like, damn, dude.
I think the surprising thing is it's not like Phillip Rivers was like just out of the league like for a year, but it's been 4 years, and it's just like, is this like our best option? Like he's 44 years old. Like I could understand like if he was out of the league for 4 years and then he's just turning like 39, to where it's like, oh, he's probably still has some miles left. But
yeah,
I don't think he looked great with the Colts when he retired.
He was a 4,000-yard passer.
Was he before
his last season?
Was he?
That's what I guess I looked it up officially, but that's what like 90% of social media says.
I know because he was there for 2 seasons.
Yeah, 2 or 3.
I think that first season he was there, I thought he played really well. And then I thought he hit like just that age drop off to where once you got like the 39 or 40 that last season.
Yeah. So in 2020 with the Colts, he did 4,169 yards for 24 touchdowns, 11 interceptions.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not terrible. I mean, but yeah, 4 years later, we'll see. I do agree with Gage. I mean, as far as like managing an offense and stuff like that, I mean, he has the experience to be able to do it. And all they really need for him to do is open it up once in a while so Taylor can get going. But we'll see if that can happen.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what me and Brandon were talking about. What I said. You don't need a guy who's going to come in and throw for 50 yards or 50-yard passes when you have Jonathan Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
You need somebody that's going to come in and recognize that, hey, they have 8 in the box. I could hit a quick slant or a quick out.
Yeah.
And get them to back it up and start guarding so that I can give it to my running back again. And I think Phillip Rivers would be great at it. So
yeah.
My issue is, you got Phillip Rivers or you have Riley Leonard that's going to do this. The Colts were already starting to flounder and not playing as well as they were. They were starting to figure out that offense. So I don't know. I'm not even where they were like possibly, 1 seed material at one point. Now they might not even make the playoffs. So
just 3 weeks ago they were 8-2, I think, sitting on top of the AFC. Yeah. And they've lost 3 in a row. Yep. And now they're kind of fighting for a wild card spot right now.
Yep. Yeah, we'll see what happens there. That'll be kind of different, bringing in a 44-year-old quarterback.
So they have Brett Ripon on practice squad too.
Mm-hmm.
And then something pretty crazy. They have Tyler Warren as their emergency quarterback right now.
Oh, really?
The old Wildcat quarterback back there. Well, remember in the NFC Championship game where Brock Purdy hurt his elbow, and then Johnson came in and then got a concussion. So Brock Purdy had to come in just pretty much to hand the ball off.
Yep.
I think Juszczyk is the emergency quarterback, or McCaffrey, one of the two, for the 49ers.
to be able to do all that.
Pretty much, yeah.
Not a lot of passing.
Not
there.
a lot of passing. You're going to get a
You
lot
know,
of probably
the
wild.
read options you could run with Juszczyk and McCaffrey could be pretty nice.
It might be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If Juszczyk could read the DN like that, it'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
That would be different. Yeah, I guess like you mentioned, like all these other teams are surging in the AFC. I mean, you even got the Bills that are starting to play pretty decent. Their defense was still a letdown, but it's going against probably one of the best offenses.
I don't know if I'd really consider it a letdown. They gave up a good bit of points, but they also scored points. So
Did they get a defensive with that?
yeah,
Benford?
Christian Benford.
Okay, yeah, now you're right. Yeah, but Allen still had to go full Superman again to get this win
in the fourth quarter. Yeah,
that was
did.
That dude, when he can do that and he has the ability to do that, and he does it, at least 3 or 4 times a season. It seems like he has to, if not more. And yeah, I mean, what he ended up going for 300 passing, 78 rushing, something like that.
Yeah, it was like
4 total
45
touchdowns.
rushing in the fourth quarter and like 100 and something passing in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. The dude's amazing once he gets rolling like that. And it's the Bengals defense, so I'm not putting a whole lot into it like it was when we thought the Ravens were going to have a really good defense. We were like, damn,
But I mean,
but
the
he
Bengals
still had
defense,
to get it done.
Bengals defense has looked solid, especially in like the run game in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think they're getting better.
It's weird that they wait so long to turn it on.
Mhm.
Why do the Bengals they need to start the season like they're behind? And then okay, guys, you're 2-8 and you're gonna miss the playoffs. Then they start fucking playing. So it's like, dude, just start the season like that. Just pretend you're 2-8. Let's just do this now.
Their coach is still Zach Taylor, right?
Yeah.
I wonder if he's sitting there and he's trying to get as much first round talent he could get as possible. See how much he can stack on a roster before making a Super Bowl run again.
I see what you're
That might be
at.
it. He's like, I need like 15 and under draft picks, and I need 30 of them on this team before we go win a Super Bowl.
So they're fighting over that with the Dolphins, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, just all mid-round picks.
Dolphins are on the opposite, though. Dolphins started off so bad, and now they're winning all these games that they're ruining their draft picks. It's
what the Bengals are doing too, though.
What?
It's the exact same thing because the Bengals were
they did that last year for sure, and then they've only won one game in the last 5, I think.
Yeah, but it's still the best they've looked.
Right. Well, with Joe Burrow being there, and then them.
But I mean,
still technically in contention of winning the division.
Crazy.
Even with Joe Burrow
4 games,
healthy,
and
Joe Burrow healthy season, it's just like, okay, I'm going to get our playoff chances nice and low at like 12% because we're 0-4.
Yep.
Then we're going to ball the hell out.
Yeah.
I think the funny thing with the Bengals this year is they started off 2-0, but Burrow was not playing very well. Yeah. And then he gets hurt. So then it kind of
Then you have Jake Browning.
What have they got, 1-9 since then or something like that?
I think so. I think they've only won
2-9?
Well, they beat the Ravens when he came back last week.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
But I think they only won one game while he was out.
They're 4-9 right now, aren't they?
Yeah.
So yeah, they've gone 2-9 since then.
Yeah.
Since start 2-0.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just
reminds me of the Saints last
year. Yeah. And I mean, even if they lost last week, but it took, like I said, that whole Superman routine from Allen to bring him back and get that done. Yeah, the AFC it seemed like that's where the teams were at for a little while. If that makes sense, like you're sure-handed teams, but this year it doesn't seem like that. You're like, okay, now they're kind of topsy-turvy with the Bills. The Chiefs are waning. It looks like they're going to miss the playoffs. And so, it did seem like that was the quarterback league. That was the league to get everything going, and more of your it was just more consistent. It seemed like now it's all over the place. You definitely don't know who's coming out of the AFC North yet.
Mm-hmm.
It does look like the Patriots are probably going to come out, which nobody expected them to win the division.
I can't necessarily say probably because you got Superman Josh Allen going into them this week.
Yep.
So I think after this week is when you can start determining who's for sure coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. There's still Patriots 4 games, I guess. But it's wild. AFC's tough right now. I feel like the NFC is still as tough. It's like top heavy, but you're already looking at teams going, man, if they make it, they'd be wild.
Well, yeah. I mean, you got one less team. You're already down to 11. And although the Vikings have a chance, they're not doing it. I mean, J.J. McCarthy, Max Prosper, you can't do it. And then you got the Cowboys who...
Yeah, right when you think they got things figured out, they go into a Lions, go play a Lions team that hasn't been playing very well. and Cowboys just kind of shit the bed on that one there.
Yeah, so it's like I agree with you. It's like it's top heavy, and I think you got a good competition between 9 teams,
Hmm.
and then after that, it's just nothing.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean AFC, you have 12 teams still in the race, and all 12 of them, I think, have a good shot at making it, other than the Dolphins.
which is weird. They have the same record as the Chiefs now.
Yeah.
They're on a 4-game winning streak, and granted, 3 of those teams are pretty bad, but they did beat the Bills in between there.
Mhm.
And I don't know why I agree with you that I don't feel like they're still a good team, but yet they are on a 4-game winning streak and
Well,
they're playing better, but it's just hard to be like to think of them as still a good team because of how bad they've been.
so I'm not only saying that because I just hate them, and they're bad. Uh, if the Chiefs win this week, they go up to a 6% chance. If the Dolphins win this week, they stay at a 1% chance.
Yeah,
So just statistically, how it works out, they
yeah,
also, I mean, they're gonna have to win out basically to get back in.
well, yeah. I guess probably because their division's a lot tougher. Well,
Yeah,
no, not. I mean, I guess. Yeah, but the Chargers and the Broncos are equally as tough, so that is kind of a weird stat. I don't know. I'm not sure how they get to 6% or 1%. Either way, it's still pretty low.
it's probably the Andy Reid factor, but
Yeah, but if it's you know, all numbers, then that doesn't account for him. Which is funny because we had a comment from Kel, not really a question. Now that you bring that up, Kel kind of commented. He's like, "All of you guys are so high on Andy Reid, but he just basically made the decision to lose this game." And I was like, "Yeah, that was a bad call. What do you guys think about him going for it on those 2 fourth downs?" And I think they were in um Texans territory too.
One of them, I think they were back
Yeah.
in their own territory pretty far.
Yeah, in their own
I
territory.
think it was
that's
that was the 4th and 1
mhm.
that he missed to Rasheed Rice. I don't know. I think they got to a point to where they understood that they probably weren't going to have a whole lot of possessions maybe against the Texans, and you needed to like get drives going against this defense and try to get whatever you could. Um, I don't know. I guess I didn't have a problem with it. Um, you needed to play like the possession game. Like you needed to keep possessions going and try to
Mhm.
get, if you punt from there, you're just pretty much giving the Texans the ball on their own 25, 30-yard line to where they get a first down, then they punt, then you're pinned back like they were like 3 times, I think.
Yeah.
So I think you needed at least, if you weren't going to score on that, you needed to flip the field position game to where maybe we talked last year where I thought the Chiefs won in the playoff game was just because they constantly seemed like they were on the Texans side of the ball. And I think this game pretty much played out like the playoff game did. They just were constantly backed up to
Yeah.
where they didn't have to go 10, 15 yards to be in field goal range. And then they weren't getting penalties on Patrick Mahomes to move
Right.
them. So
Yeah.
I think this game almost played out exactly like that playoff game did. It just the field was flipped to the Texans rather than
Yeah. Just on the other
Yeah.
side,
Chiefs.
not a lot of offense going on.
Mhm.
Their defense was playing really well, and that's where I kind of disagree just a little bit. Was because of how good the Chiefs' defense was playing as well. And I agree with you about flipping the field position, but I thought it was still kind of early on to do it. But I don't know. I don't think that it was like does it put into question Andy Reid's coaching status as one of the best of all time or the best of all time? No, but it still could be a boneheaded call. But I don't know. I still think he's one of the best to do it. I could see why he'd want to do it. Maybe it's just terrible that they don't have a good running game that they can count on to try to get a 4th and 1 or a 3rd and 1.
Well, we've seen plenty of good running teams losing on 4th and 1.
Hmm.
So I actually I like the idea of passing on it, and I love the call. I just don't like the play call.
Mhm.
I think, I mean, it's clear when it's a 3-step drop and sling it right away that Rashi Rice is your primary target and your only target.
Mhm.
And even though Kelsey used to be, I if it's 4th and 1, I'm going to Kelsey. And I see Patrick Mahomes and I see Travis Kelsey. I mean, honestly, anything below 4th and 5, I'd probably go for it and just hit Kelsey on a sit down.
Yeah,
Like, I don't care if there's 3 guys on him, Patrick, throw it at Kelsey.
yeah, and that's still where Kelsey is good is in those short
Mhm.
yardage because he just can't stretch the field like he used to. So I agree with that.
Yeah, so I think
agree
it's a
with that.
great I think it's a great call to go for it. I mean, it could be first quarter. I think it's a great call to go for it when you have Mahomes and Kelsey. I just think it was a bad play call.
Hmm.
And I think it's, trying to be like, hey, they know we're going to Kelsey, let's go to someone else. But I don't think it matters if they know you're going or not. you give to Kelsey.
Yeah.
So,
And they tried to hit their other tight end on the one route. I can't remember if it was third or fourth down, but it was not good. Like it just went right off his hands. It's just not the same. I think it was Gray. Is that his name? Noah Gray.
No Gray.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, they tried to hit him and do the same thing they do with Kelsey, but that didn't work out so well.
Yeah. But I mean, you got most sure-handed guy ever almost.
Yep.
You throw a ball at his kneecaps, and he falls on it, and boom, first down on both of those, I think. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It definitely changed that game because I think at that point, what was it, 16-16, put Texans immediately in field goal position or field goal range, and I think they ended up getting a touchdown out of that. So it wasn't 16-16.
It was 10-10.
10-10.
Yep.
There you go. And they ended up getting a touchdown out of that. So did they miss the extra point then?
No, it was 17-10 after that because the Texans ended up winning 20-10.
Oh,
Yeah.
20 to 10. Okay, that's right. Yeah.
yeah. So, yeah, I don't think it changes anything. I
So
mean,
they were both in the fourth quarter. The first one was on the 31-yard line of Kansas City where they missed the 4th and 1, and then, like you said, Texans went down and scored the touchdown. The next one was on the following drive. I guess it was in Kansas City territory again on that 4th and 4. It was an incomplete pass to Rishi Rice again. So then the Texans went out and punted, but then they punted down to the Kansas City 2-yard line, I think,
Yeah.
and then that's when Patrick Mahomes threw that interception to Kelsey. Well, Kelsey like bobbled it and dropped it and went into the.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I forgot about the interception he threw there at the end.
But
Yeah.
it was, I mean, they were backed up onto their own 2-yard line. So if they needed to, they had to go against the Texans defense for 90-some yards to try to score a touchdown.
Right,
So
to get done. So it kind of plays into what you were saying earlier. Like it didn't matter because their field position was going to be kind of screwy anyway. But yeah, I mean, the Chiefs they don't look like the Chiefs that we're normally used to seeing. You expect them to be already mounting their comeback and start doing this. Now they could still go, what would that make them, 10-7? They won out. They could still do it, so I'm not completely counting them out. But this doesn't feel like the same team that we've seen do that for years and
yeah. Well, just
drive into the playoffs.
yeah. One more thing to add to the whether it's a good play call or not. I really wonder how much Spags had to do with that decision. Like he's probably an Andy Reid's here because that's not an Andy Reid type of thing to do is go for it on 4th down. But if his defense coordinator's like, we've been playing great defense, we will get the stop, go for it.
Right.
So he believes in his defensive coordinator has been one of the best over the last 5-10 years. I mean, you go for it. I feel like when you got one of the best defense coordinators and good defense, and he's like, yeah, you go for this. I'll stop him.
Okay. I still think on the first one they probably should have punted. But I agree with you on the fact that, it was a bad play call. So I definitely see what you guys are seeing there. Second one, yeah, you got to go for it there. But, yeah, I don't know, man. It's just crazy because that's normally Chiefs territory. Other games I watched. What do you guys think? I mean, Ravens. What are we thinking of them? I mean, it seemed like their defense was their letdown. Now it feels like their offense is letting them down more.
I feel like I didn't watch, a whole lot of that game. I feel like what I did watch, though, I think that Cal Hamilton back deep again. And they kind of had Emmanuel Worry switching in and out with Hamilton deep. And I really don't like that. That was the difference maker in their defense last year was if Kyle was in the box, they were balling out. If Kyle was back deep, they sucked ass. So I don't like seeing him deep. And then, yeah, I mean, they're just old. Even last year, they were just older on defense. So
I still go back to I don't know what's going on with Lamar. Lamar's like almost when you look at Lamar's like career, I don't know stats, but his completion percentage has always been like fairly high. Like he's never had to throw the ball too much, and he always seems like he always kind of finds the right person. But these last 5 games, his completion percentage is well into the 50s, like 58%, 56%, 56%, 53%, 54%, and he's obviously got something going on with his lower body because he doesn't seem as explosive or as wiggly, I guess. I think he can kind of still kind of go from point A to point B pretty fast, but you can see like the shiftiness probably isn't there. I noticed that against the Bengals game to where if he like as soon as he hit his back foot and kind of took off if he wanted to, he could. He just wasn't like juking defenders like he used to in the past. So
Right.
I don't know. Something's got to be going on with him with his lower body to where it's a number one affecting his elusiveness, running the ball, and then has to be doing something to where he can't get a whole lot on his passes to where his completion
I
percentage
bet
is abysmal.
he's got a hip flexor injury
It has to be
that
something.
affects jump cuts, that affects slinging the rock. So I bet it's a hip flexor or something in the hips.
Yeah, that kind of plays into what I was kind of thinking as well, because it seemed like he had what I think I'm looking at 7 rushes for 43 yards, but I think that was more scrambling. I don't know how many design runs they actually had for him. I didn't see a lot. I think they still had a couple, where they do the run pass option, which they
Mhm.
run up until this year ran better than any
Mhm.
team. I mean, the only other team that kind of ran it okay was the Eagles when they were doing it with Barkley last year a little bit, but they were just the best. And Derrick Henry, I mean, his um, average is down so far this year; they cannot get it going. So yeah, maybe him not being able to get out and make those runs
Mhm.
and do the RPO as well, maybe that's just hurting their run game altogether. Maybe it was way more important.
Yeah.
I think we put an emphasis. I did at least put an emphasis on the fact that they had to have a good offensive line, to get 2,000 yard rusher, and then you got the quarterback running like that, and now all of a sudden it's like, well, wait a minute, maybe it was just more of that misdirection stuff that they
Yeah.
had. So, and you're not seeing that. Maybe I don't know if you might be right. He might still be hurt, or they just might not want to get him hurt, so they're not running that more. But they don't look the same at all. They don't look good. I mean, I think this last game, Henry went 3.8 average yards, but you did mention on our last pod was that you thought the Steelers defense might be able to do something against that. Said I know they haven't done well, but so you did mention that you thought maybe they might be able to slow him down, and they did. I
Yeah.
mean, he still almost had 100 yards, but he had to do it with 25 carries.
Right.
So
Yeah. I don't know. I think Derek's really good. It doesn't seem like against D line pressure he does good like he used to. Just like he has that power until he gets his speed now. Whereas he used to be able to stand still and throw people.
yeah,
He could. I mean, 5 years ago he could sit in the pocket all day like a quarterback and sit there and just
Yeah.
toss defenders and do what he wanted for 5 seconds before taking off. And I think he's still got the power, but I think it mainly comes from how big he is as a runner instead of how strong he is now.
mhm.
Of course, he did. I seen him throw a defender about 3 yards again last game too, but I think it's more of his downhill speed at 6'2", 250 is more what helps him now than just his pure strength. So I think
Yeah, he
that's a
definitely
huge.
has to have a head of steam
Yeah, I think
before
if
he gets going.
anytime you get contact on him before he hits the second or third level, I think you slow him down pretty well.
Who's that big defensive tackle for the Steelers too? He
Cam,
popped him
Cam
good.
Hayward.
Yeah,
Cam Hayward.
he popped him so good when Henry was just coming up through the line. I don't think I've seen Henry take this many hits before 2 or 3 yards and go down like he has been this season. Something's different. He might be on his way out, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
I
I
think
mean
he's
he's a
seen his better
32-year-old,
days.
6'2" running back. They always.
Yeah,
I
Right.
mean, the
Has
reason you see so many 5'10" running backs is because it's battling the knees,
and
running
then
through the line, and
when he was with the Titans, he probably averaged 400 carries a year because
hmm
that's all they had.
well,
So he
and not
got
to mention
got a lot of tear on.
it's a miracle he made it out of high school after
Yeah.
400 yards,
Right.
or I think his state was 10 games, so it was like 500 carries a
Mhm.
season, averaging 50 carries a
Right.
game. It's amazing he made it out of
Oh, I
there.
know.
So
Okay. Any other? I think another notable too, and I'll talk about it a little bit more once we get to our overreaction, underreaction. But another notable game was, I don't know if we talked about the Titans and the Browns game, because you had a couple of rookies going at it, the quarterback position, but you also had, me and Gage were talking about this. You also had the number 2 defense going against the second worst
Right.
defense, and everybody's already starting to pin those or compare those guys from this one game. And yeah, dude, in this game, Shadur looked way better than Cam Ward. But are we really playing that much into it? What do you guys think?
I want to say way better for one because I seen Coward Ridley had like 2 drops. Like, come on, man! I think he put one in camp in what's his name? I think he put one in a corner's hand, and that was Cam Ward's interception. So it's like his receivers can't catch still. I think he only threw 20 passes too, compared to 42. So I don't think he played that bad. He was 13 for 20. If I remember correctly, he was 13 for 20 for like 146.
14 for 28.
14 for 20.
28.
28.
50% completion percentage.
So he threw more than I thought. But I mean, it's still, yeah, I don't think he played as bad because I think if you give him a receiving core that's not Calvin Ridley, he probably completes 18 or 19 of those passes. So I don't think he played that poorly, especially considering the defense he was going against. But
Yeah.
Yeah, we go. I think I talked about this like 3 weeks ago about who Cam Ward is throwing the ball to, and it's just like, dude, I have no idea who these guys are.
Mm-hmm.
Just looking at it, his number one receiver was Tajee Spears. I think I heard that name before. He had 2 catches for
yeah,
28
I
yards.
think he's their second string running back.
Yeah,
Yep.
he was the leading receiver as far as yardage goes, and then you got the Chimeri Dyke. Is that how you say his name?
Chimere DK.
Yeah, DK.
We call him Dyke, but
Yeah, it
DK.
looks like Dyke. I don't know. Is he a rookie?
Yeah, Chimere DK's a rookie.
5 catches, 24 yards, and a tutty. Then you got Chig Okonkwo, 2 catches, 20 yards. And then Van Jefferson, didn't realize he was on the team, 2 catches, 17 yards.
Is he like on his 8th year and his 8th team?
Yeah, I think
at
so.
Van Jefferson?
Yeah, I had no idea.
Hmm.
Malik Io Manor, I think he's a rookie, 1 catch, 14 yards. Gunnar Helm, 1 catch, 8 yards. David Martin Robinson.
Who in the hell?
Yeah, see, so that's who he's throwing the ball to.
Yeah.
Top 5 receiving core. Don't forget.
the Browns, I don't know. Shadir looked good, but like you said, he's going against kind of a rough offense. I don't think he looked like terrible against the 49ers. That was just a hard game to kind of pin on anybody because the wind was blowing like 40, 50 miles an hour. I thought his kind of a couple reads that he missed, a couple passes that he missed looked pretty good. He had that wide open receiver, I think, streaking down the middle that he missed that one time. That was going to be a tough pass anyway, but I don't know. I didn't take too much away from this game just because of who was playing against who. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you're going to get some of these. If this game ended up being like 3-0 and both played bad, I probably would have had the same feeling, to be honest with you.
Right. And, I mean, he really had to scramble to get back into this game, too, because the Titans had at one point, I think, a 14-point lead. And he had to really kind of scramble to get him back into it, which also pumps up your numbers, you know, and he made those throws. He had to do it. I'm not taking anything away from that, but he still had to do it. And to come back against the Titans defense is probably not all that hard, you know, because considering they were down at 14 to begin with at one point to a team that was 1-10.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I don't know. That was just one I looked at, and I've been hearing a lot. And like I said, it'll be coming up here again soon on our next segment. But
I guess I will give him a little bit of credit. Up until this game, I did not think he was an NFL ready or an NFL quarterback. Did not think he had NFL talents. Thought he was kind of carried by, 5-star Travis Hunter and Heisman Travis Hunter. But like you said, he's made some throws and stuff, especially in that game where it's like, man, maybe he can make it in the NFL, just not yet.
Yeah, his best throw was to Harold Fannin on a crossing route in the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, I mean, defense was all over Fannin in that one.
Yeah.
And he placed it perfectly, put it right to him, and Fannin had a great grab. So, I mean, there was some really good throws and getting back into it. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I mean, it was just kind of a crazy week. I'm sure we didn't discuss every game, but we talked about a lot there. Let's go on to Offensive Player of the Week.
OPOW? Okay.
Yes,
we just talked about this game for a good bit. I got Tony Pollard, 25 carries, 168 yards, and 2 touchdowns against Myles Garrett and the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, we saw firsthand 2 weeks ago how kind of tough sledding it is to try to run against that defense, Schlesinger and Garrett, and how well they play the run. Obviously, if you're going against the Titans, probably aren't spending too much resources against those receivers. So, I mean, you could probably stack the box pretty good. So, yeah, I was impressed with Tony Pollard and the game that he had.
Is that who you got too? Or
no, my offensive player of the week. I went with the old gunslinger Aaron Rodgers. 23 pass attempts, 34 yards, 284 yards, 1 tutty, 0 sacks, 0 interceptions, and then 1 rushing touchdown as well. And the reason I went with him is because of the impact of that game against the Ravens. You were playing for the number 1 spot in that division in the AFC North, and I thought he played well. He didn't take any sacks. Threw for almost 300 yards and even had a rushing touchdown.
Okay, awesome. I almost went with one of those games that were kind of pivotal as well, and I looked at Aaron Rodgers as well. Actually, I agree with Gage. I ended up going with Tony Pollard. That's why I asked you if he did, because it was going to be a sweep. I ended up going Tony Pollard as well. I mean, he had some big runs, and I don't know. I mean, sometimes, you have your big games, pop up against these guys, get amped up against these big defenses. But man, that was a really good game against a good defense. He had a 6.4 average, and I think you already mentioned 2 touchdowns. That's 6.4. I know he had a 60-yarder in there, 40 or 60. Can't remember. I think it was a 60-yarder, which definitely bumps that up. But at the same time, this defense, the Browns' defense, is still really stiff, really good. We already talked about it, but yeah, that's what won them the game was Tony Pollard. Because Cam Ward was not having a good day and
Yeah.
didn't have a great day, but they were able to run the ball and get it done. So, all right, defensive player of the week.
Defensive player of the week, I got Christian Benford. He had a beautiful pick six. He was coming on the quarterback blitz, took to the house, and it was kind of a turning point that led that kind of it's like Josh Allen watches defensive success, and that's what has him take over the game. That's what gives him his X factor. It's not necessarily him making a big play or something happening on offense. If you watch his defense make a big play, he becomes Superman, and I mean that's what Benford did. So
Heck yeah.
I had a defensive tackle for Detroit. His name is Al Quadin Muhammad. He's a big boy, and I actually got to watch that game. And every time he made a play, I was like, I don't even know who this guy is. But he ended up with 3 sacks, 4 QB hits. That defense altogether had, I think, 5 sacks against Dak Prescott, which was a big part of reason they kind of knocked off the surging Dallas Cowboys.
I like it. I didn't notice that one when I was doing. I was at my wife's Christmas party during that game, so I only got to see just parts of it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would have probably looked at that one and kind of seen that one because that was a big game too. But I went with another big game that had a lot of meaning. I went with Cam Hart for the Chargers. I never really heard of him until I started looking up
Yeah,
stats.
dude, he's a Notre Dame boy.
Is he?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I went with him. 4 tackles, 3 pass defense, and 1 interception. And I do understand that Hurts was just tossing that ball out, giving it away like candy in that game. I think he had 5 turnovers altogether, 4 interceptions.
Mhm.
Or
I
was
don't know. Can you count it as 5 turnovers? 2 of them were in one play.
That's true.
Was
Is it really
that
5 turnovers?
So
He threw a pick, and the offensive lineman he threw a pick. He threw at the QB spy.
Mhm.
He's seen the QB spy and said, "That's my guy." He threw it at him. It was insane. Just threw it right at QB spy. Big defensive end tackle starts running down the field, gets stripped by an offensive lineman. Hurts picks it up.
And
I
that's
think
where
it
his
was
fumble
the
came
defensive
from.
lineman that picked him. Punched it out. Perfect punch out, and he
Mhm.
fumbled it.
Okay, that makes sense. I was wondering where his fumble came from, but no, yeah, I think it was just a gritty game. I think that they needed that, and I think Cam Hart's came at a pretty good time in the game where it kind of switched the momentum there. So yeah, it was kind of tough. I looked around. I probably would have chose that defensive tackle that you saw if I would have seen that one though. I like that one a
So,
little better, but still, that's
Just a little clarification. He is not a defensive tackle. He's listed as their right defensive end.
How big is he?
6'3", 250 according to
Oh, is he?
Espen.
Oh, I thought he was bigger than
But-
that's that Muhammad guy.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I have also seen Espen list what's his name? That Ravens fullback. Patrick Ricard. They had him listed like 255 and he was 305. So
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I just thought that game against Philly was huge for the Chargers. That was
Mhm.
felt like for me if they lost that game, I was kind of starting to count them out a little bit. But okay, let's do a overreaction, underreaction. I'll go and just start it off with the overreaction since I already kind of alluded to it a little bit. It's Shadur again. I did this a couple weeks ago when they beat the Raiders and everybody was jumping on his stick. Then for me now, it's not so much. I do think Shadur had a good game. I do. Me and Gage kind of argued about this before we got on the pod. I think he had a good game. I don't think that it's necessarily him, but the comments on Twitter and all the football stuff I follow has been ridiculous, just ridiculous. I mean, you got all these people that were just waiting in the wings for him to do anything decent, anything good, and then they want to cry. It was clearly racism. It was clearly, they had something against him and all this stuff because he's the number 1 quarterback. He's the best quarterback drafted. And, they're forgetting about Jackson Dart and how Suggs had some good games. And, it's just like, my God, people just calm down. We still don't know. And the only 2 games that he looked decent in was against terrible teams that are playing horrible. And they ended up losing one of those games. I know he doesn't play every position, but just calm down, quit jumping at every little thing he does because the dude's still got to play. And it looked like to me, like you mentioned the Niners game, they confused the hell out of him in that
Mhm.
game. They didn't do anything real special. They just played some pretty good coverage, and that screwed them all up. I mean, it's the way it looked to me because they didn't sack him a lot. They didn't, really pressure him a whole lot. He just didn't know how to figure out that coverage. And to me, that was more alarming than if somebody's chasing him around all day and he doesn't know what to do with it. So, yeah, I just think it was, yeah, guys, just get over it for now. If he ends up being a good quarterback, fine. Then say things, after a couple of years, be like, he was clearly better than these guys. But I mean, 3 games into his career so far and only looked good against bad defenses. Just, yeah.
Yeah. We don't like to get political on this podcast much, but like you did mention that a lot of people are like, "Oh, it was clearly racism." Guys, the first overall pick was a black quarterback.
Yeah.
It clearly wasn't that. So
Yep.
we'd like to avoid politics here, but that's just you do see that a
Yeah.
lot where it's it was racism. Racism. He fell to the fifth round for racism. Oh yeah, that's why the first 2 quarterbacks or 3
Yeah.
quarterbacks taken were.
Yep. And I've seen it. You see it all
Yeah.
over Twitter right now. It's crazy.
Yeah. So I mean, that's pretty wild. He had, but yeah, like you said, we argued a little bit because he had like
Almost 400
200
total
and
yards.
240 passing yards and like
No, like 300.
He
something.
had 360, I think.
Yeah.
yeah, I know. If you would let me finish,
Oh,
you can
sorry.
see where I'm getting to.
Sorry,
He had
no.
like 240 passing yards and like 30 going into the fourth quarter when they were down
Gotcha.
Oh, I got you. Yeah.
14 points. So you have Titans relaxing, you have Titans pulling people because they're up 2 scores in the fourth quarter against a quarterback who at that point was playing really mediocre. And then he started balling out, and he still only completed 54% of his passes.
Mhm.
So that's where our argument came from. I don't see this great game when you throw 42 passes. I don't see how 360 is great. I think that should be expected from an NFL quarterback who throws 42 passes.
Right.
Yeah. And it was in garbage time, so I'll give you
Yeah.
that too. Yep.
Yeah, his situation and stuff, like you said, the 2 games that he's won is against the Raiders and the Titans. So,
And well, they lost against Titans, but that's
or
where
I'm sorry, lost against the
Yep.
Titans, but his 2, I guess,
His breakout
Decent, yeah.
games. Yeah.
Yeah.
like I said, I saw it firsthand against the Niners. So there was a few opportunities for him to take advantage of. I understand it was the situation or the conditions weren't the best, but um, if he was a decent quarterback, maybe he completes those passes. I don't know, but
Yep.
I feel the same way. My overreaction is more of a question. It's not really an overreaction. Maybe it is, but to you guys, I wanted to kind of gear it towards the Chiefs and the Eagles, who, in my opinion, the Eagles kind of have been the class of the NFC for the last 3 years. I know 2 years ago they lost in the divisional round right off the bat, but they did start off that season 10-1, and then they kind of hit that slide towards the end, and then so sandwiched in between there are 2 Super Bowl appearances where they easily could have won the one before, so they could have 2 Super Bowls right now, but they're both kind of going in the same trajectory, and it's not a good trajectory. So who are you more concerned about long term? Kansas City Chiefs trying to figure it out and getting back right, or the Philadelphia Eagles figuring it out and going back right?
I'd say the Chiefs because if you look at both the kind of bigger losses in meaningful times, I guess not necessarily meaningful times. We'll find out this week, but they both kind of played a giant slayer in that were like 2 games that kind of made you worry. It's like
Mhm.
the Eagles start playing bad and then they get beat by the Chargers. It's like, okay, now you're on a losing streak. You're not looking good. And the Chiefs, they got beat by the Chargers early on. It's like, wow, they're not looking good at all. So I'm worried about the Chiefs because they play with the Chargers, who
Mhm.
seem to be just giant slayers. And, Andy Reid, who knows when he's going to retire.
So not to cut you off, but that was my big one, like long term, like the next 5 years. Um, the Chiefs were always going to be mine just because Andy Reid's 67 years old. He could technically, I mean, the last, I think 2 or 3 years they've been up after the Super Bowl. They've always been like, oh, is Andy Reid going to come back? Is Andy Reid going to come back?
Mhm.
I've seen it with the Eagles. I think the Eagles are young enough with their core pieces. The only thing that gives me pause with them is their offensive line kind of seems like they're getting a little bit older. Lane Johnson could retire at any time, and you see how bad their offensive line really is as a group when Lane Johnson's not in there.
Mhm.
Um, But as far as like their core pieces, we've seen whenever they get a knowledgeable veteran offensive coordinator in there, how well their offense actually plays.
Mhm.
The 2 seasons where their offense is kind of tanked and dropped off a cliff towards the end of the season is where they've put 2 guys in there that's never called offense before. So it kind of gives me um, pushes me towards the Eagles kind of figuring out a little bit more, just because of if they can get like a veteran play caller in there to kind of figure this offense out and kind of right the ship a little bit. I can see them kind of getting right.
Mhm.
Eagle, or like I said, the Chiefs. The thing that gives me the pause the most is Andy Reid could call it quits after this year, and then I think they'd kind of be in trouble.
What
Yeah.
if
To be honest with you,
the Chargers suck, or the Chiefs suck, miss the playoffs this year, and Andy Reid decides to go back to the Eagles, coaches that offense to try and go to the Super Bowl?
Goes just for an OC.
Yeah, just goes be the OC and try and
That would be that'd be
try and take the
crazy.
that
Eagles
would
to
be
the Super
interesting.
Bowl.
Honestly, I'm kind of listening and then thinking a little bit. I kind of agree with you that the Eagles might have a little bit more to figure out. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I kind of agree with that too. Mainly for me, I do think that I would like the fact that if you went to either of these teams as a offensive coordinator or a head coach, I think you'd much rather have Mahomes over Hurts to try to get yourself
Mhm.
figured out. So yeah, I kind of agree with that from the quarterback standpoint. That I feel a little bit better about the Chiefs' future still because of Mahomes. He's still a top 5, top 3 quarterback in the league on most people's um, lists anyway.
And
So
statistically, even this
yeah,
season.
yeah.
Mhm.
So I feel I'd probably be a little more concerned with the Eagles as well, if that's what you were getting at. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've always said it though. I think Mahomes is carried largely by Andy Reid. I think I think he's a hell of a talent still. I don't deny that anymore. But um, like I think that could cause a lot of issues if Andy Reid's gone. I think you see a fall off in Mahomes, but I see quarterbacks being a different thing. But I don't see anybody but Andy Reid being able to win any games with an offense that can't run the ball more than 2 yards a play.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just thought it was interesting just because you look at maybe that's why there's so much parity maybe this year is just because the Chiefs obviously are out of playoff contention right now.
Mhm.
So you're seeing all these other teams. I mean, even like the Ravens are down, so you're kind of seeing all these other teams kind of step up. And then even in the NFC, I understand you got the Rams who are playing good, and there was kind of expected, but the Eagles are going in a really bad direction right now, and it's just like, man, I don't know if they'll be able to figure it out. I don't know if
Nope.
we're kind of seeing that kind of parity just because I looked back at those 2 teams the last 3 or 4 years, and they were kind of like the class of
Yeah.
each
Yeah.
conference anyway.
Right now, if the Eagles were in the NFC West, they're third place.
Mhm.
And it's just because the NFC East is so, really it's bad this year.
Yeah.
It's really bad.
Yep.
So last year if they had this record, they're not making the playoffs.
Right.
So yeah, but I like the question. I do like that, but because it is hard to say, because I think overall I like all the pieces better in Philly, but I don't like their quarterback situation, and
Yeah.
it goes to show that he can't get it done most of the time. He's had the glimpses. Super Bowl was really good last year, but
Yeah.
okay. So underreaction.
So I haven't gotten into my
Okay.
overreaction yet.
Oh, sorry, my bad. I
Yeah.
thought you
Yeah,
agreed with
Jared
me on
just
my.
kind of. Yeah, I agreed with you, but it wasn't
Gotcha.
mine. I did write it down and cross it out, but
Okay.
mine is actually the Colts fall off, which we have mentioned this episode already. And I mentioned how I really like Philip Rivers coming in. A lot of people, of course, it's big news when a guy like him comes back, but nobody really talks about how much of a chance it gives him. Like I said, even if it's just the pure definition of a game managing quarterback, I think he can revive this offense, maybe even do more than Daniel Jones did. So, I mean, I think Daniel Jones highly benefited from how crazy the run game was
Mm-hmm.
until teams figured out to stop Jonathan Taylor. So I think people are overreacting about the Colts and where they're at situation wise with their massive losing streak and everything that's going off there. I think Philip Rivers comes in, and even if he's just coaching up Riley Leonard and just sits on the bench for a couple of weeks, I mean, they're almost guaranteed a playoff spot. They got to win 2 more games, 1 more game. So I think they come playoff time. I think Philip Rivers will probably get playing time since they did end up signing him, and I think they'll be just fine.
Okay. I'm not sure if I agree. I think they have the personnel still to get it done, but I mean, I'm one of those people that's kind of like Are they going to get it done? So I do think their
Yeah,
quarterback position.
something about just staring at Andrew Luck there, right there gives me confidence in the Colts, man.
If Andrew Luck was the one coming out of retirement, no, I agree. I think you kind of hit it right there. I don't think they're bringing in Philip Rivers to play like right now.
hmm
I think they, like you said, I think he's coming in kind of more of like maybe a mentorship at this moment for Riley Leonard. Riley Leonard for Notre Dame last year, he's more of like a dual threat. He can get you those hard yards. So maybe if the Colts can figure out, let's limit the turnovers, let's get these like hard first downs, let's can kind of control the field position and win games, get us in the playoffs. Like you said, once we get into the playoffs, maybe Philip Rivers would be ready to kind of go out there and kind of sling it around for 2 or 3 games. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of like, I'm not jumping the ship on the Colts just yet. If they start losing, maybe, when they play the 49ers and they kind of get demolished by the 49ers, which might be a possibility now, but you start creeping into like the, 8-7 and, 9-7 range of their record, especially in the NFC. I'm sorry, the AFC. Might get a little dicey, but if they can get into the playoffs, I do like Philip Rivers to come in and kind of take over that offense.
Weird. I come into the season with no hope for them because of their quarterback situation. And then I start getting hope for them, going, "Hey, this team's good." And now they're back going. I got no hope for them because of their quarterback situation again on the
See,
back end.
I don't know what it is because most father-son relationships, it's the father loving the old quarterbacks, but you like the young guys who are like, hell yeah, Joe Flacco's the man. Hell yeah, 44-year-old Philip Rivers, he's going to come in and ball the hell out.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know, man. And they got a rookie or they got the old guy. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I don't have a
I
lot of
think,
confidence.
hey,
I do hope that like what you guys are saying is true. They can get that running game going, and either one of them just has to toss the ball around a little bit once in a while. That's the only if they could do that, they got a definite running game to be able to do that.
hey,
But
it's very rare, especially at the NFL level. But what if you have a third down quarterback in Philip Rivers? It's passing down, so
Yeah,
Philip
yeah,
Rivers goes in. Other than that, you keep your dual threat out there. And
right.
I mean, the
is he
Cowboys, one of the Cowboys tried it.
is he going to be able to get his walker out there fast enough between downs to get on the field?
Yeah, I don't know. He's got 10. He's got 10 kids to help him onto the
That's
field. So
true.
I think
That is
I think they'll
true.
be just fine. I think
Yeah.
the 10 kids will just pick
Yeah,
him
that
up and
must
run
be
him
what
out.
happened, man. This old lady must have just popped one out, so he has like a couple months
Right.
before he's got to worry about making a new baby. So he's like, I might as well go play a little bit in the NFL.
Yeah,
Might as well go back.
There's a little
do
like
something.
nice little tidbit about Philip Rivers. How do you guys feel about his Hall of Fame chances?
I personally, well, shit. I mean, he next year would have been his
That's what
chance
I
to be
yeah.
first ballot, but now
It
because he
resets the
came
clock.
out, it resets the clock, so he has to wait another 5 years.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So
So there's a chance, like he's
This year
going
might
with,
play into it a little bit.
like there's a chance Derrick Henry, if he retires this year, he's on that ballot, and I don't necessarily think he gets it over
Aaron Rodgers, if he
Derrick Henry
retires.
if Aaron Rodgers retires. So
Yeah.
I think it all depends on who retires this
I just,
year.
I just thought that was interesting. Like he could have been on the ballot next year, or he would have been on the ballot,
Mhm.
whether he's a Hall of Famer or not. But now this resets the clock.
Yeah, but
Yeah, we'll see.
I personally believe with the stats, I I think he's almost first ballot worthy, especially with the way quarterbacks are playing nowadays. To see that like almost every quarterback in that era
Mhm.
is like Hall of Fame worthy because 10 years before that era, they were throwing for 3K was impressive. Now 3K 3,500 is impressive,
Mhm.
but he had. I mean, I looked at it even in 2020, he had 4,000, and every year I've seen before that he had 4,000. So he was a 4,000-yard passer for what 9 seasons.
Right.
Yeah, he was a regular season quarterback. That's the only thing that I see holding him back. Wasn't great in the playoffs and never won a Super Bowl. So
Yeah, that's
and those are the only things. But I
well,
mean, I still think he should be worthy. But they play a lot into that when they do it. I personally would vote him.
can't say never. He
But
could get one this year.
that's
could.
true.
He could
That's
get her
true.
done.
But he just couldn't get done in the playoffs. I think a lot of people hold that against him. But I mean, he kind of like the Dan Marino of that era.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think he has the stats to be a first ballot. But I mean, I think if it takes more than 3 years to get him in, I think they're insane. I
Mhm.
think for sure he should be a Hall of Famer
Yeah.
some
Okay.
point early in his ballot chances.
Right. Yeah, I like that. All right, let's get on to the underreaction here. My underreaction, as we talked about it earlier, is the Dolphins' 4-game winning streak. I know there's 3 bad teams in there, but we consider them a very bad team. and they were still getting it done. They beat the Jets when the Jets beat who did the Jets beat the week before?
Falcons.
Falcons, who was considered a playoff team this year. So I mean, it's just they're getting it done, and I think that the win against the Bills in between there was really impressive. So yeah, I it's going unnoticed, and they could still have a chance at the playoffs. They're at 6-7 now. So yeah, I mean they got the same record as the Chiefs, so they got the same. I know we talked about it, but you said their percentage different is a little different, but
Mhm.
yeah, I still think that nobody's talking about it, and I understand kind of why, but still, a 4-game winning streak should still be noticed. So
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna do a little plug here, just because it's fits with my joke. I think he's only using the Dolphins and trying to talk up the Dolphins because Kale is a huge Dolphins fan. We talked before the pod. He's writing a collection of short story guys. So once he gets it out, once he gets it out, look for it on Amazon when he eventually gets it done. He's doing some short story stuff.
Oh, nice.
But I think he's only doing talk about the Dolphins because he's trying to make Kel happy. Kel's super supportive, especially
Shit.
when you write his favorite team a little bit.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think that's the whole reason he's talking the Dolphins here.
No, that's funny, but no, I was just looking back on some of our picks and how we've had the Dolphins sweep for like 3 out of the last 4 weeks. So that's funny though. I like it.
Okay, my underreaction is Tyler Shook. He didn't have a great passing game. He didn't pass for any touchdowns. He only had 140 yards. He had 2 touchdowns on the ground. One of them was like a Lamar Jackson type of run, and he ran hard, and took a big hit going in the end zone because he went low, and the other guy came down on him. So he put his body on the line. It was like Josh Allen esque, but not full Josh Allen Superman type of game. But he did enough to lead him to a division win against the Bucks. So
Very surprising one.
Yeah, yeah. He's playing well enough on a team that's not very good too. On top of it, he took over the reins like 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, something like that. But yeah, I know coming into the draft, and a lot of analysts kind of said, the thing about Tyler Shuck was like he's the most like pro-ready quarterback. He's just 27 years old, and he's been battling all these injuries while he was in the NCAA. But he's kind of taken the reins a little bit with that New Orleans team. I think if they can kind of get a team around him, maybe kind of push him to the next level. I don't know. Maybe not never be like a top 10 quarterback, but yeah, I've been pleasantly surprised with how well he's been playing too, because Chris Olave might be the only person I know on that receiving corps since they traded Rashid Shaheed away. So yeah, I like that one too.
Yeah, and he's doing it like we were saying. Yeah, just to add to that too, he's doing it after they kind of sold their season.
Right. Yeah.
So, yep.
My underreaction is just something real quick. There's 5 divisions still where the third place team can still win it. I got the NFC West with the Rams at 10-3. The Niners are third place at 9-4, so they're only 1 game back. The NFC South, the Bucks are 7-6. This one's a little bit more kind of harder to achieve, but Dolphins still could win the division at 4-9. They're only 3 games back with 4 games to go, so they need a lot to happen, but still realistic they can do it. AFC South, the Jags are 9-4. The Colts are 8-5 at the third spot. The AFC North, the Steelers are 7-6. The Bengals still technically can do it at 4-9, and then the NFC North, the Packers are 9-3-1, and the Lions are 8-5. So with 4 weeks to go, these teams that are still in third place in the division can still win the division.
Okay. I think I got a little confused in there. Did you say the Dolphins could still win their division too?
No,
Oh, okay.
I never said the Dolphins.
Oh, okay.
Falcons can.
Falcons. Can.
I think he said the Dolphins, but meant the Falcons.
Is that what
Okay.
did I say? The
I
Dolphins?
heard Dolphins.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Yeah.
Dolphins cannot win the division.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think they can get there, but
Dolphins are
Hopefully
five games
they.
back.
I will say I really hope they continue that win streak though.
because then your prediction will be
'Cause
true.
I had Patriots, Bills, and
Oh, did you?
Dolphins make the playoffs, and Dolphins are the only ones selling that.
They
But
could, yeah.
big win streak.
Yep.
Could happen.
And looking at the Dolphins' schedule, they technically still, I think, could. They got Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, Tampa Bay, and New England left. So if that Tampa Bay or that New England game at the end of the season isn't going to mean anything to New England, maybe it can mean something to Miami where they can sneak into the playoffs.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
So that was yours, just the third place teams.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah.
So
no,
there's
that's cool.
still 5 divisions still up in the air.
That's wild.
with
Awesome.
4 weeks to go.
Awesome. That's a good take. All right, so we'll go on to our picks. I actually had for my underreaction, I had a second choice too, and that was Devontae Adams' touchdown run. He's at 20 so far. The record is 23.
Oh wow.
So he's really close, and they still got 4 games, which we kind of expected records to topple because of the added game,
Mm-hmm.
but they just really haven't been.
I mean,
So this might be one of the first big records that are going to get toppled.
okay, so
But if he gets it within 16, awesome. But he might take an extra game.
here's something, and I know we're running a little long, so you're trying to get moving. Who's going to break the record first? Because you got two great guaranteed Hall of Fame players on pace to break the season record, in Myles Garrett and Devontae. And
Oh,
they're about the same number of
Mhm.
units away from.
right. 23 sacks is where does he need 24, right? They
He
both
needs
need 24?
23. Record's
23?
22 and a half right
Yeah.
now, ain't it?
Okay.
Yeah. So
So-
he needs 23. Devontae needs 23. I think they're both like right at that 20 mark, or Garrett's
Yeah.
at 19 or something.
So to break it, Devontae will need 24, but yeah, same. I actually think that probably Myles Garrett.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say
so-
Garrett too. Yeah.
I think with
Fair
the
enough.
passing league, he's going to have a lot of chances. And
Mhm.
they usually have a really good run defense too. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, that's good. That's a good point. Yeah, because all right. So with our picks this week, Gage won the overall. He had only 3 losses.
Yeah. I finally started trying.
So he did a little something. His Titans finally came out for him. He went 11-3. Good job, Gage.
Nice.
I went 9-5, so I'm right in the middle again. And Jared went 6-8, which is surprising. I think that's
Not good.
by far your worst
It
week
is
so far.
big time.
So Gage, though he got some games up on us, he's still bringing up the rear in the overall 115, 95, and 1. And he's checking my math
Yep.
as I'm doing this again. I've never messed up. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, I didn't even know I didn't even realize you read it right here. So I'm just like, what the hell is going on down here?
So I'm still in the middle, 136, 73, and 1. And Jared is still leading, even though he had a terrible week at 143, 66, and 1. But yeah, now I'm only six games behind you now. So
Need a couple more weeks like this last week, and we'd be
yes, sir.
getting tagged.
Yep. Now Gage is still 18 games. No, 28 games behind
Okay, I'm
Jared.
checking your math again.
Right? 15, 43,
I believe that's 7 for you and Jared.
7 for me and Jared. Sorry. Yep. Okay. All right. So, yeah, so that was awesome. We only had 7 listener picks, guys. Get them in. This week, what we're going to do is we're going to keep it at 100. It was 100 because we've bumped it up the last 3 weeks. We haven't had enough people. So we're going to do 100 again for one more week. Try to get everybody to get in on it. We'll hold it at 100. Hopefully keep it till somebody wins it. If not, we're just going to bump it back down to 25 till we get some players. But we'll try to hold it at 100. Just get some people in there, man. We only had 7. We appreciate everybody who has put in for it, but just start talking to people and get some people in on there. So let's go ahead and start with our picks.
All right. Tomorrow night we got the Falcons versus the Bucks. Bucks have looked real shaky. Falcons have looked real shaky. This is like shaking in your boots football game here. Both are just shaking.
Yep.
I'm taking the Falcons 28-27.
I like that. I like how you kind of led into that because you're spot on with both of these teams. This game's like perfect for both of how these teams are playing right now to be a Thursday night game because usually we correlate Thursday night games with being like real shitters. Like, this might be a real shitter tomorrow night, but for some reason I still got the Bucks winning. I don't know. The Falcons can't seem to get out of their own way. Neither can the Bucks. So this might be like a 0-0 tie, but the Bucks I have winning 23-17 in a pivotal divisional game for them anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So just real quick, what are we thinking? Like over under 5.5 turnovers? Because they just like to beat themselves.
Yes.
Mm.
Who's
Yeah.
playing? Is
Probably over.
Cousins still playing quarterback? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, as far as I know, they have Tampa Bay as a 4.5 point favorite. I mean, I'm okay with that for the most part, but I mean, they haven't really been watching the Bucks that much, I guess. They are at home. Falcons do look a little worse. I'm going for the Bucks in this one. I think they've got a lot more to play for. I know Falcons are technically still there, but I think they got a little bit more to play for. I'm going Bucks, but I think it's going to be kind of a high scoring, ugly game still. 31-30. I think you are going to see turnovers, probably a couple of defensive touchdowns in there. Neither team plays real good defense. been playing real good defense right now, but neither team's really been playing great offense. I think so. I'm gonna give though 31-30 Bucks.
Okay, so later on, I'm going to bring up something that's pretty important that includes this game, but I'll save it for later on. Okay, next game, first Sunday game is Ravens versus Bengals. Um, I don't really like how either team looks right now, but I'm taking the Bengals in a 42-26 win over the Ravens.
Yeah, this game was just played on Thanksgiving, which is kind of surprising that they're playing again so quick.
Mhm.
I do like the Bengals coming out of this one again. The Ravens' offense just isn't very good. They proved that the first time against the Bengals defense. So I got the Bengals winning a close game, 28-26.
Okay, they've got Baltimore as a 2.5 point favorite. I'm not so sure why they have that, the Baltimore, but they usually end up getting me on these anyway. But I actually would think that the Bengals would be would be the favorite in this one, being at home and everything. And then, like you said, they just beat them on Thanksgiving. So I like a high score game here. I think my first three games were pretty high score that I did my picks on. 38-35 Bengals.
Okay, is that a Bengals sweep for the Finley
Yep.
formation?
I think
An
so.
underdog sweep for the
Yep.
Finley formation, huh?
Yep.
Okay, next game is Raiders versus Eagles. I think some people might actually have a bigger spread on this game than I have, but I got Eagles taking it 34-17.
Yeah, the Raiders, I think I said this last week, might be in that territory where I don't pick them again this week. I don't care. For some reason, they always play the Broncos pretty close, like they did last week. Um, Eagles, I think, are going to kind of hopefully take advantage of this Raiders defense. Raiders can't score for that many points. I still like the Eagles defense, so I got this one 27-13, Philadelphia.
Okay. They've got Philly as an 11.5 point favorite. I think that was the biggest one. No, it wasn't. Second biggest one.
Wow.
There's some big spreads this week, but anyway, that's a big spread. But I get why the Eagles have been terrible. I like the Eagles to beat it, but I still am not happy with the Eagles offense. So I'm a pretty close score to you, Jared. I got it 24-13.
Okay. I thought you said you hadn't beaten it.
Oh yeah, I guess they just under it. Sorry.
Yeah, that's just under. Okay. Next game is Cardinals versus Texans. I don't like the Texans' offense has looked really good since I talked a lot of crap about them, or they look good, kind of. They look better since I talked a lot of crap about them when they beat the Niners, but it just looked super rough. I do think Cardinals are going to find a way to make it look better, but I overall I think Texas is going to win 21-7.
Who I got a pretty close same score as you. I don't like teams that aren't very good on offense scoring points against the Texans offense. It's hard enough for teams that are good on offense to score points against the Texans defense. Cardinals offense just isn't clicking right now. I think Jacoby Brissett,
Brisket.
he's kind of peaked. I think this season he's
Yeah, he's got a good 4 or 5 games in him every season.
he does, yeah, and I think he already hit those. So, and this isn't going to be a good game against the Texans. I got them winning 22-6.
Okay. Yeah, they have Houston as a 9.5 point favorite. Yeah, that works for me. I do.
Yeah.
I have the card scoring a couple, a little bit more points than you guys do, but I still like the Texans 27-13. I think Texans will exploit this defense a little bit. They're playing better, and then yeah, I think Cardinals will get a couple field goals, and then maybe one touchdown in garbage time.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I just really don't like him scoring because, I mean, really, the Texans could drop either defensive end back and probably cover Michael Wilson with them because they're so damn fast. So
Cardinals just have not been able to run the ball.
Nope.
Yep. Next game is Chargers versus Chiefs. Chargers beat them last time. I think the Chiefs are going to give it all they got, and I think they're still going to lose 31-29. Chargers victory.
I liked how you put that. How they're going to give it all they got and lose, because I kind of thought the same thing when I was thinking about this. I was like, man, the Chiefs just aren't giving you anything to give you confidence in picking them every week, and for some reason, you're going to get into it, but for some reason, the odd makers still keep on picking them as the favorites. They're like the opposite. I've kind of figured this out. If the Chiefs are favored, pick against them, because that's usually what happens. And the odds makers are dialed in on the Lions, because when we think the Lions odds are like, what the hell are they doing with the odds makers? The Lions always prove them right.
Yep.
So always bet against the Chiefs and always go with what the odds makers are saying against the Lions.
Yep.
So I got this one close game, close divisional game, but this is hopefully officially end the Chiefs' playoff chances. I got the Chargers winning 20-19.
Okay, yeah, and you're right. They do have the Kansas City as a 4.5 point favorite, not just a favorite, but just like actually by more than a field goal. Uh,
Wow.
I, I mean, I guess I get it, but the Chargers keep making things happen. We've said this week to week that Jim Harbaugh makes things happen. Dude's a winner, and he figures out ways to put his team, gives them the best chance. I mean, he had Omari and Hampton's back now.
Mm-hmm.
They've been able to run the ball. I mean, I know Vidal still had most carries, but they use Omari. They're going to use Omari and Hampton. They're going to keep using him. They got a good run game going. It's still, I mean, it's kind of funny that you harp on Herbert so much, and he did not have a great game last time. But as long as they can keep running the ball, they're going to be good. And I think the Chargers should be the favorite in this one, and I'm kind of surprised they're not. But I'm going to go Chargers 21-20 in a close game. But that's where I kind of figured this would be like a 1 point game either way. But
Dude, I took a 2 point spread, and it was the largest spread.
It was,
but
yeah.
this is the second underdog sweep on the Philly formation.
Yep.
Okay, next game is Bills versus Patriots, and this one is really hard for me. It took me a minute to think about. I think Josh Allen's probably going to go into this game on Superman mode, and he'll probably be another 6 total touchdown game for him because he's going to have to do everything. But I am taking them in a 42-41 win over the Patriots.
okay.
Man, I thought I had a high scoring affair in this one, but you kind of blew mine out of the water. I do like the Bills going in and winning this game. I think Josh Allen's just going to have to do it again. Probably in almost the same fashion in the fourth quarter where he's just going to have to kind of take over passing, running, whatever. But I do have the Bills coming out on top 32-29.
Okay, they have Buffalo as the 1.5 point favorite going into New England. I think that they like Allen going in there like we do. I think that's exactly where I was going to say too. Is I think Allen at some point is going to have to take over. I do have it a little bit more of a conservative score than this one, but I like the Bills to win this one 27-24.
Okay, I can see that. I mean, it's every game where you think it should be a shootout because it's two elite quarterbacks. It has been low scoring this year. So.
Yeah, but Allen, he can put up some points.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't blame you for going big.
Yep. Next game is Jets versus Jaguars, and I mean, it's still like the Jets. That they still look better after trading their best two pieces. It wasn't even like a fluke week.
Mhm.
They just still look better. But good enough to beat the Jaguars? I don't think so. I'm taking Jaguars 27-20.
Yeah, the Jaguars, I think, are on kind of a heater right now. I think they're figuring out that, especially on offense, I think Liam Cohen's kind of figuring out how he wanted all those pieces to come together, and I think they're kind of gelling pretty well on offense, especially. And we've always kind of thought the Jaguars' defense was a little bit opportunistic throughout the whole season. It's just the offense kind of needed to catch up to them, and I think they finally have. So I like the Jaguars winning big, 30-14.
And you know what really helped them figure it out? Jacoby Myers. Man,
Jacoby
he
Myers,
doesn't-
that is, yeah.
He doesn't put up a lot of stats. Like, he doesn't fill the stat sheet. But that is when this offense came together. Like,
Mhm.
they lost
It
Hunter.
is, yeah. That's
They
a good
fell
point.
off. Jacoby Myers comes in, and they're on track
Starting to
again.
get
Yeah.
it together.
Yeah, I like
Mhm.
that.
Yeah, for some reason it opened up their running game too. That's
Yeah.
what's weird. Is
I didn't know
think
Jacoby
they were
Myers
running.
was that big of a name of guy.
No.
He kept tracking that much attention, but
Yeah, Jacksonville is the 12.5 point favorite, which I'm okay with. They've been playing way better than the Jets. I do have it kind of more of like the low scoring game you guys have too. I like the Jaguars to win this one 24-10.
ooh,
I like
it.
their defense as well.
Okay, next game, Commanders versus Giants. Preseason, I was like excited for these matchups, like
Mhm.
Jackson Dart, Cam's Cadaboo versus Jaden Daniels. But Jaden Daniels' elbow is probably done for like his career. I feel like he's gonna miss a lot of time for his elbow
He
throughout the
did
next.
play.
He did, but didn't he retweak it in this game?
I thought he did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he went out, but he did start.
Yeah, so I think he's gonna have a lot of issues probably for a long time
Yeah,
with that
I see-
elbow.
yeah,
'cause
nagging injury.
Mm.
Gotcha.
If you've seen that injury, man, holy hell, that was pretty gruesome.
Yeah, it was ugly.
But I think for that reason, I'm taking Jackson Dart and the Giants in this, and it's gonna be 31-22.
Taking Dart and the Giants. So we said,
Yep.
Yeah, it's always hard to come try to pick a team after they just got shut out. What was it, 31-0 or something like
Mhm.
that? Commanders have just too many weapons, I think, on offense. I think Debo's been playing pretty well this season. Terry McLaurin seems like he's kind of come back pretty healthy, and for them to get a goose egg was kind of surprising. So that in that reason, I watching the Giants, and I know they kind of got blown out against New England last time we watched them, but I really liked for the most part kind of what they were doing on offense. Um, I think they're just still hurting that number one wide receiver, but I do like the Giants winning this game as well, 23-21.
Yeah, this one was tough. And they have New York, the Giants, as a 2.5 point favorite, which I'm okay with because they're at home. But this one was kind of tough because Commanders seemed like they were getting things going. They almost had the Broncos, all that when they had what's his name as the starter, as the quarterback.
Daniel.
Jameis?
No, the Commanders.
Oh,
Yeah, Daniels.
Mariota.
Mariota, yeah.
Mariota as the starter, and it seemed like they were getting things going. So then they go into Minnesota with Daniels as the starter, and they kind of fall off and
Mhm.
wasn't looking too good. But now it seems like it's going to be Mariota as the starter again. So I'm going, is he going to play good and get them going again, or are we going to look at what they had last week, not so good? Either way, I think it's going to be a close game. I just had a tough time choosing because Mariota seemed like he was running this offense a little better there for a couple weeks. I still like the Giants 30-27, but I could see it going the other way too, though.
Fair enough. That's fair. The next game is Browns versus Bears, and this is the one where it's going to be pretty shocking because I'm taking the Browns in this 17-13.
Okay.
I really think, especially after losing the Titans, you're going to have a pissed off Myles Garrett. What the hell is going on here? Hello. Okay. I think you're going to have a pissed off Myles Garrett. You're going to have a pissed off Carson Schwarzenegger. And I don't think the Bears can deal with that. I think their run game's going to be stuffed up pretty well. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be very entertaining offensively. So I'm taking Browns 17-13.
Okay.
The one thing the reason I went with I did pick the Bears, but the only reason I did that is just the way the Titans were able to kind of run against the Browns last week with Tony Pollard and that offensive line. So the one thing that the Bears can do is kind of scheme up some really good run games. I think with Devontae or Swift and Monangai. So I think that's going to be the difference maker. I don't really trust Caleb Williams kind of throwing against, like you said, when Myles Garrett's breathing down his neck and that pass defense that the Browns have. But I think this one's going to be close, but I think the Bears are going to squeak this one out 24-20.
And a miraculous fourth quarter comeback, just like every other game they've won this
that's
year.
That's what it's going to be, yep.
They have Chicago. Surprisingly, I know that Chicago's record is quite a bit better than the Browns, but surprising to me, they have Chicago as a 7.5 point favorite to beat the Browns. And I mean, yes, they just lost to the Titans and everything like that, but their defense, that was kind of a fluke week for them, it feels like, because that's not their norm. And normally they have a really good rushing defense, which is what has been propelling the Bears, like we've talked about, is their running game. And I agree with Jared that I still have the Bears, but at that, I still have it a close game. And I do think that Caleb Williams is going to have to pass the ball, and I think he is going to have to get over 226 yards.
Okay, but now.
And if he doesn't, then yeah, it could go the opposite way. But I like the Bears just to squeak this one out 20-17.
I'm okay with over 226. He has to be over like 2.
Probably 250.
But
Yeah,
something right
I don't
now,
think he'll
so.
get back on the average, but I'm just saying he has to get like a lot of yards to get back on there. But he's going to have to, I guess it was whatever his average would have been, just the normal average to get 4,000. He's going to have to do that.
Yeah,
So.
at bare minimum if they want to win. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next game is Panthers versus Saints, and this is the one where I think the first game we talk about, tomorrow night's game, is really important because I think the Saints win over the Bucks was a fluke, and I'm taking the Panthers in 24-17. And if the Falcons do beat the Bucks, then Panthers are the first place in that division. They're the 4th seed. So.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I like the Panthers as well. I think they're just a better overall team than the Saints. It's going to be kind of I think, closer game, maybe, than the spread. I'm not sure what the spread is, but maybe not. I got the Panthers winning, though, 27-17.
Okay, yeah, I mean, according to this one, you definitely beat that spread by a lot. They only have Carolina as a 2.5 point favorite.
Really? 2.5. Wow.
Yeah, I think it's, the Panthers took a week off. Saints grabbed a big win against the Bucks, so maybe they're not remembering that the Panthers playing this conference pretty well. Actually, though the Saints did beat them the first time they played.
Oh,
They
did they?
did. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
So maybe that's what they're thinking. But I like the Panthers to win this one big. I think they went and they got healthy over the bye week, and they're gonna come into this one ready to play the Saints. They're not gonna take them lightly like maybe the Bucks did. And I like the Panthers to win this one big, 38-20.
Okay, so we all see Panthers as the 4th seed at the end of this week. Isn't
Yeah,
that pretty
did we
crazy
all
to talk
pick
about?
the
We all picked
Bucks
the
to lose?
Falcons. We all picked the Falcons.
Right. I picked the
Panthers.
Bucks.
Yeah.
Oh, you picked the Bucks?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was gonna say I thought
you
I picked the
suck.
Bucks
I do.
too.
I have them tied, though. I have them right there.
Yeah, you haven't tied then. Okay, actually, it might put them ahead in division record.
It
though,
might be, yeah.
So.
Well, I guess the Falcons are in that division, too. So.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I
that's
picked
true.
the Bucks as well.
Fair enough. Okay. Next game, Lions Rams. Should be a really good game if you look at it on paper, but
Mhm.
it's not going to be a really good game because Ben Johnson carried that offense. So I'm taking Rams 31-17.
Okay.
I think this is going to be a little bit closer. This might be, at some point in the playoffs, a preview. If the Lions can get in there, but this game's going to be a little bit tricky for the Lions because I have the Rams winning 31-26. So I think it's going to be close, and this kind of might put a little bit of a damper on the Lions' playoff chances if they lose this game. Because they'll be at 8-6.
But Matthew Stafford is slow. So if Aiden Hutch can get off the ball,
Did you
That's the
pick
best
the
I've ever
Rams
done.
or the Lions?
I'm taking the Rams.
That's what I thought. Okay.
But if Aiden Hutch could get 3 or 4 sacks because Matthew Stafford doesn't run, then
Yeah.
I could see it.
Yeah, they have the Rams as a 5.5-point favorite, which I mean that's actually about where I have the score being anyway. And I do agree with you. I think the Lions will play a little bit better defense. They could. Aiden Hutchinson will do it, but I really am way more confident in the Rams defense than the Lions defense, and that's where I ended up having this little bit closer game, but 30-24. What was your score prediction?
31-26.
So about the same.
Mhm.
Yep.
Oh,
so
so I
just
was the
barely
only one that didn't even have it close.
Yeah, you got a
really.
blowout, yeah.
Yeah.
which it could very well end up like that. But I do think that the Lions, after last week, maybe got a little confidence. But yeah, it'll be crazy if when they lose this one. I feel like, but if they lose this one, they might not even make the playoffs.
Right.
Yeah.
Outside
They'd fall
looking
to
in.
what, 8-6?
That's what. Yeah.
That'd be pretty rough. Next game is Colts versus Seahawks, and I guess this is my other shocker of the week, but I did do these notes today, so I did know about Philip Rivers being on the practice squad. And, it's not their whole game. I do think Jonathan Taylor has a chance to get back on track. But I do think Philip Rivers being in the building and helping this young quarterback or whoever they decide to start will be huge. I'm taking the Colts to win the game, 33-15.
I like
Ooh,
that. I like
upset.
that for divisional purposes for the Niners.
Yeah. I
Um,
hope you're right.
I still like how Seattle's playing defense. I think they're playing defense at a really high level. And then the Colts offense, if Riley Leonard is the quarterback, might struggle if this is going to be his first start against a pretty decent Seattle defense. So I got this one and a pretty big spread. Seattle 28, Colts 10.
Yeah, they have the Seahawks as a 13.5-point favorite, so that'd be quite the
Quite the upset.
Oh, yeah, it would.
if you predict that true. I don't like it. I don't like the matchup for the Colts at all. Just basically piggyback off what Jared said. It's if you have Rivers in there playing, he's not going to be able to get away from this defense. They're going to sack him, and Riley Leonard, I think they're going to confuse him. They're just playing way too good a defense. So I like the Seahawks to beat the spread just barely but 34-20.
How do you know? How do you know what Philip Rivers has done in the past 4 years? What if he became a marathon runner who's now fast as hell?
If he's just got that dad bod going on and comes in like I look and just is like
That could be it. Yeah.
That
Hey,
could-
Big Ben made it work. Big Ben made it work for
Yeah,
15 years.
That's
So
true. That's true.
I mean, maybe it'll help him because he was not a big quarterback really. So
Yeah, unless Philip Rivers has been trained to be an Olympic sprinter, gonna do
Yeah.
very well.
okay, next game is Packers Broncos, and man, did I want to go against the Packers here, but you just can't at this point. You can't go against the Packers at this point. So I'm taking them 20-14.
Yeah, looking at this on the schedule, you're going to get probably the game of the week as far as where these teams are in the standings. And my score predicts it's going to be game of the week, but I do have the Packers squeaking this one out. I like just how their offense is kind of, taking that next step of where they were, and I think their defense is still playing at a high level. So I like that with the Broncos offense still kind of, in balance to where we don't know where the heck their offense is going to go from here. But I do like the Packers winning a close game, 24-23.
Okay. Yeah, they have Green Bay as a 2.5 point favorite. I think that is because of the fact that their offense is starting to pick it up and starting to look good because their defense has played well all year, like you said. My score is not much different than yours, Jared. I agree with you guys with maybe possibly game of the week stuff here. But yeah, I like Packers 24-21. So
Cool. Next game is Titans Niners. Um, I do have the Niners winning, but I am a little worried about Cam Ward on the ground this week because our D line they got a Steeler, but it's still the rough point on the defense, and we don't have linebackers. Definitely not linebackers fast enough to be the spy on Cam Ward. So I'm worried about Cam Ward on the ground, but it just doesn't worry me enough to take the Titans. So I'm taking the Niners 35-21.
okay.
I'm going to go opposite because the Niners are push back a little bit on that because the Niners pass rush is so bad that they never get upfield anyway. So they're all just going to be four spies looking at him, even though they're trying to pass rush. They're just technically spies because that's whenever the Niners play somebody, that's what it kind of looks like sometimes
Yeah.
when their quarterback's back there throwing. I'm like, really? Are we just doing four spies right here or what?
Yep.
That's how bad they are. But I do have the Niners winning big coming off a bye. I think the bye came at a really good time for the Niners, especially their offense. Defense, I think they're kind of getting a little bit some guys back that were kind of backups that got hurt, and now they brought some guys in. So the backups are coming back in a little bit healthy. So hopefully
Mhm.
that'll give them a little bit more juice on that defensive line. But got the Niners winning 30-13.
Okay. They have the Niners as a 12.5 point favorite, which I think we're all okay with. We all like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, I totally agree with you guys. I think the Niners are going to be able to bottle up this defense a little bit, and it is funny because that is exactly what they did with Shador. It looked like in their last game. It's almost like they've given up. All right, we're not a pass rushing team this
Mm-hmm.
year, so we're just going to go ahead and
Just don't let them scramble.
yeah, just don't let them scramble, and we're going to trust our coverage for I don't know. It just seems like that, but yeah, I still think the Niners are going to be able to get this done. I do think that they're going to run a little bit, but not a lot. I still think the Niners are going to be able to bottle them up for the most part. 35-20 is what I think Niners are going to win by.
Okay. Next game is Vikings Cowboys, and I just changed the score on this. Sitting here looking at it, I had it 28-17 in favor of the Cowboys. Like I said, just changed it. I got the Cowboys taking it 35-28 instead.
Okay.
So I think it'll be neither defense doing a whole lot, and JJ looked decent last week. So against the not so great Cowboys defense, he might be able to play pretty well.
Yeah, I got this one a little bit high scoring as well, not as high as yours, but I do got the Cowboys coming out back on top. I do like their offense still. Their defense kind of took a step back, I thought, last week, but maybe I chalked that up as the Lions can do that when you got Jameer Gibbs and Amon looked really good after getting a freaking ankle sprain on a four day rest. But I got the Cowboys winning this one 30-22.
Okay, so you like the Cowboys in that one? Is that where we were
Yeah,
at?
30-22.
Okay. Yeah. Dallas is a 5.5 point favorite going into this one. I get it, even though the Vikings just had a really good game. And I think they shut out the Red Commanders. Yeah, I like the Cowboys here too. I actually had this one being a little bit more of a defensive game, I think, than what you guys did. But I'm going to go 24-20 Cowboys.
Cool. Okay, next game is Dolphins Steelers, and I mean really for the Dolphins, this game, then of course their Week 18 against the Patriots are the two ones that they have to win if they want to make the playoffs. And I don't think they get it done. I think the Steelers are going to take them down 24-13.
Yeah, I think the Dolphins finally run into a team that's gonna kind of stop them offensively. I like how the Steelers have been playing defense, and then the way Aaron Rodgers and that offense played. I think DK played pretty well as um, in that game against the Ravens as well. So I got the Steelers winning a close game, 21-18.
Okay.
And who knows? Maybe the Dolphins coming up in the cold weather up in Pittsburgh might affect them a little bit. I don't know.
I'm going to affect the Dolphins a bit. Okay, they got Pittsburgh as a 3 point favorite. So actually here, is I know I'm sucking up to Kel again. No, no, actually, I think this is where we kind of differ. I don't think I've had much of a different pick than what me and Jared. I think you've had a different couple, but I had the Steelers down at one point, and I went back and forth on this, and I thought, I think the Dolphins been playing well enough. Steelers did play good last week, and this might be the week they don't play so well.
That's true. Yeah.
So I went with the Dolphins in this one, 27-17. So I kind of have them winning pretty big. I think I think they'll be able to run against this team. So
Yeah, Kel. After all this, you better be handing out that book of
yeah,
work.
yeah. No, I do. Yeah, the Dolphins. Yeah, I think they're going to be okay to play in the cold weather there a little bit, but
Man, I really hope you're right because that is greatly. I mean, I know it says it doesn't boost their odds, but it boosts their odds to make the playoffs. So I really hope
yeah.
you're right.
Yeah, and then like I said, I could see a game where the Steelers win this too because I did go back and forth. But then my score prediction has a little bit further out than a close game, but it could go either way. But yeah, okay. So this is the first week back to where we have 16 games, so that's awesome. Back to full strength, full schedule. Yeah, a lot of this is coming down to it, man. I mean, a lot of do or dies here, so this will be a fun week again. We appreciate you guys listening and get on with these picks, man. We haven't been able to give away money for like 4 straight weeks now. We only had
Hey,
7.
if people don't collect money, they just go back into our pockets. So
Yeah, that's true.
maybe
That is true.
maybe not. I don't know.
Awesome. Yeah. So make sure you get everybody in on that. We'd like to hear from everybody again, and yeah, give us some questions. We didn't really have a question this week, so get back on that. But yeah, we appreciate you guys listening, and let's have a good week.